This is Jim. I thought I'd show you a few of the different features of Pepper today and talk a little bit about some of the things that could go wrong when you use Pepper, and show you a few of the features that you may not be aware of. And so hopefully, by looking at all these things together, you'll be able to figure out where your problem lies in saving Pepper notes. So I'm going to begin with this database. This is just one that I have access to, um, but I think it's a good enough site where I can demonstrate some of the different aspects of Pepper. So I'm going to go in and we'll just start by creating a simple note. So let's see, I'll just go into this folder. So to create a new note, as you know, you can just click on New Note. You can type in a title and you can type in a bunch of words. And then when you're finished, you can click Save and Exit. And when you do this, the note that you just wrote will appear here on the screen. So if you click Save and Exit and you don't see your note, that's a sign that something's gone wrong and it probably wasn't saved. So whenever you save, check to make sure that the thing that appears on the screen is your note. And if it's there, then everything should have worked fine. Of course, you can also be responding to somebody's note. So if I'm responding to Kim's note here, and I say reply, I'll see her note on the right hand side, and I can type in my reply to Kim. And again, when I press save and exit, I'll see my note appear here. And again, this is how I know that it's worked properly. Okay. Now I'm going to just delete these notes. Now, what kinds of things can go wrong? Well, let's suppose you create a note and you start writing it. A bunch of things could interrupt it and prevent it from being saved successfully. One thing, of course, is if this tab or window should be closed. If I should close it right now, I would lose access to it. Another thing could be an internet outage. If you save the note while you have an internet outage at your house, then it won't save properly because it can't save the note on the Pepper server. But there are other things that could also do it, more subtle things. One would be is if you leave this on your screen overnight, and then the next day you come in and you try to finish off the note and press save and exit. If that happens, then if there was a time, there's often a timeout period during the night when Pepper has to back itself up. And so in that case, you will have lost your connection and you will have lost your note. So don't leave the editing window open for a long period of time. That can cause problems, especially if it's over, say, a 24-hour period. That's not going to work for you. Another thing that could go wrong, if you create a new tab. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a new tab, but if you create a new tab and then you go into a different version of Pepper, or even the same version of Pepper, so you have Pepper running in two different windows, that can cause problems. If you're editing in one and you're in a different Pepper tab or a different Pepper window, maybe you create an entirely new window like this one, Pepper should only be running in one place at once. Now, the last thing that could cause problems, but rarely does, is if you are, say, doing some work in another software program and you copy and paste stuff into Pepper. Occasionally, there could be a very odd character that can cause some kind of corruption. For example, if I'm running Microsoft Word, it's possible that something could get copied in. In practice, I've almost never seen this. I've only seen it maybe on one or two occasions, and it was only associated with tables, being tables that were developed in Word, not copying over properly into Pepper. But it could happen, so that's another possibility, and it's one of the reasons that I recommend if you want to make a backup of your Pepper work, that it's best to copy your work from here and store it in Word, so you have a backup there, rather than doing your writing in Word and then copying it into Pepper. Okay, now, in fact, you don't really need Word at all, because one of the things you can do is if you're writing and you decide that you want to go away for a while or that you want to finish for the night, you can just make your note private and press save, and you'll see you get this little message, the note is saved, every time you press it. And a private version of your note is now being saved on the server, so you don't have to worry about other people seeing it, and you don't have to worry about it being lost. Every time you press save, a backup copy is being made. And in fact, if I quit right now, I'll see the note right here that I've created, and it's private. That means that the teacher can't see it, the other students can't see it. It's just visible by me. And whenever I want, I can go back into this note and edit it and finish it off. And when I've finished it, I can press save and I can unprivate, make it from private to public, press save and exit. And now here it is again. It's no longer private and everybody can see it. So this is a really good strategy again if you just want to, if you're editing in Pepper and you want to be safe and want to make sure that your versions, there's no internet outage or no problems, you can just save drafts right in the folder, but make them private. And again, all you have to do to make them private is click on private and nobody else can see it except for you. Okay, now one other thing that I wanted to mention is you talked a little bit about using Control F to find your notes in Pepper. There's an easier way to do this. You can go up to Windows if you want to find your notes and go for Search for Notes and then search for notes written by you. And if you want, you can even pick the particular conference that you wrote the notes in, or you can just leave it the way it is. Click on Search, and it will show you all the notes that you've created. And you can click on these notes to make sure that you remember them. So this is a good way to see how many notes you've created and where you've created them. Now, you'll notice that when I click on these notes, I don't necessarily see the conference that they were located in. For example, where did I write this? It's not exactly clear. If I want to see the conference where I wrote it in, I click on the word conference, and it tells me, oh, I wrote it here in this conference entitled Research User Interface Design of Pepper. So you can just click on that conference button to figure out where it was located. Again, if I want to find the last note that I wrote, I can say search for notes by me. So that last kind of nonsense note I wrote here, that was written in General Resources. There it is right there. And click on it. There it is, and now I'm going to delete it because of course it's just a nonsense note. Okay, so that's a basic introduction to some of the different features of Pepper. Again, the things you have to watch out for when you're saving notes are things like internet outage, leaving it on overnight, creating new tabs and starting running Pepper in multiple places at once. That can confuse it, maybe in 2 windows at once. And remember that you can just use the save button if you want to save a note and keep it private by clicking on the private button. And that way you can keep your draft versions in Pepper and keep them secure, and you don't have to worry about any kinds of crashes or anything like that. Okay, that's it.